No time of the year is more exciting than the holiday season. For most people, it's celebrating Thanksgiving with family and also Christmas with other family. And the overall joyous spirit is exemplified in the Super Sentai fan base as around November and December we start getting rumors for the next Super Sentai series and then later toy catalog scans, usually early December, that show us the new suits, the new Zords, the weapons, the changer, the collecting gimmick, everything involved with the new Super Sentai for at least its first initial wave of stuff. And here we are today. The 41st Super Sentai series, Uchuu Sentai Kyuuranger, has been revealed. Hello, this is Soundout here, and welcome to the Soundcast, Episode 4, where we'll be talking about Uchuu Sentai Kyuuranger. Now, I was a little hesitant when hearing about the rumors of this series, and I was like, alright, I want to see how this is. And usually with Super Sentai series, at least lately, anything post-Gokaiger, anytime I see it, my first reaction is, eh? And then later on, I tend to enjoy the shows. For example, Kyuuranger was one I was like, what is going on with these costumes? Then Tokyuger was another one where I was like, oh god, that mecha. And then I bought them all because I really loved the show and liked how things combine later. And even Zyuohger, which I love dearly, I did not even like it that much when I first saw it. I was like, cubes? Really? Okay. And then I let things play out, and that's eventually how I ended up buying every single Geo cube. So Super Sentai stuff usually doesn't give me a first impression. It's not usually a good first impression. I usually kind of negative. I'm like, oh, what's going on here? And also mostly because a lot of Super Sentai shows post Gokaiger have been very traditional. They haven't been reaching too far in design to try something new. And I'm always just like, oh, okay, whatever. Zyuohger did some cool stuff with cubes later on, but when it first came out, I was like, oh, look, it's like Go-Onger, except cubes. Uh, so that's basically how that works. But here we are, Uchuu Sentai Kyuuranger. This is the first time, I think, since Shinkenger that I've been excited for a Sentai since first seeing it. I'm so loving everything about this, except maybe like one little aspect. But I'm really digging a lot of things. First, I want to talk about the suit designs. So, if you may notice from the image, there's 9 Rangers on the team to start. It looks like there's a main team of 5 Rangers and a supporting team of 4 Rangers. So, what we have is Shishi Red, Okami Blue, Oshi Black, Chameleon Green, Kajiki Yellow, Sasori Orange, Washi Pink, Tenbin Gold, Hebi... excuse me, Hebi Tsukai Silver. That's a weird one there. They're based on constellations and the zodiac. So you have Shishi Lion, of course, for red. Blue is wolf, black is bull, chameleon is green, yellow is swordfish, orange is scorpion, pink is eagle, gold is Libra, and silver is Orpheus or a snake. So there is that. Basically, there is 9 Rangers to start, which is kind of insane. I think we're going to get 12 by the end of the year if the Zodiac thing plays out. So I'm expecting 3 more to show up, maybe at the point where we usually get a 6th Ranger. We'll see how that goes, but it's always a possibility. Yeah, this team's going to be massive when it's all said and done. It's going to be nuts. So I'm digging it. Green and pink are the female Rangers of the teams. Kind of wish yellow would have been female too. That would have been kind of nice to have 3 since we have 9 to start. But what can you do? That's the way things are. America can always change things if it does decide to adapt this, but we're not going to really talk about that today. But yeah, really cool. I like the main layout being red, blue, black, green, and yellow. So that's kind of cool. And then orange, pink, gold, and silver. We don't get many orange rangers. We've gotten one in, let's see, since Tokyuger. We got one Tokyuger and Zyuohger. And now we got Kyuranger. So Battle Cossack is not alone anymore. He's got 3 buddies, which is pretty cool. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for the suits, for the Ranger colors. The suits themselves are fantastic. They're all very different. Usually with Sentai, it's like, oh, they switched the helmet and that's it. Things like, see, the Washi Pink has wings on her back, which I think is so cool. And then Libra, like the Libra Gold one, which I forgot his actual name just now, but the gold, he's got like scales on his helmet, which is pretty cool. Mostly like it seems like gold, silver, orange, red, blue, and yellow all kind of fit the same theme, but they're all very different. The helmets are really stylized. They have lips on them, but they're not prominent, which is pretty cool, kind of like the ZO/O Ranger helmets. And I love the constellation animal being a part of that. The one that's got me, okay, first of all, female green. That's awesome. We got a female green on the main team. There was Shiro Ninja. No, sorry, that was Mido Ninja in Ninja, but that was an extra ranger. It was only in one movie. We got a main female green. That's fantastic. The one I want to talk about is Oshi Black because he is gigantic. He is this big ass, muscled like ranger. I've not seen anything like that. It's kind of like he reminds me of the Magna Defender. Bull Black, since we're using Sentai terms here. He reminds me of that suit design with the whole bull theme. But he doesn't have a cape. He's just gigantic. He's like massive. He's like this huge dude. And I've never seen anything like Sentai. He's so armored up that I'm kind of curious if the actual character is not that big. And this is just a big suit of armor. I think the picture of the vinyl figures lined up showed you that he's like a half inch taller than everybody. It's kind of nuts. He's just really big. I think that I might be buying the Sentai Hero series figure of him because I think Oshi Black is like the coolest of the suit designs. I really dig it. Also, most expensive Sentai Hero series line. You have 9 of them at 900 yen a piece. That's like $90 USD. So kind of nuts. What's crazy is collecting gimmicks. Let's get that right out of the way. We had the Shuriken in Ninja. We had no collecting gimmick in Zyuohger, but a ton of Mecha. Now we have collecting gimmick again. Now, Sentai collecting gimmicks, I feel like, are always kind of weird. They don't usually go as far as Rider. This time we're getting 42 Qtama. Now, Qtama are these orb-like devices that are held inside a container, and they can rotate, and they have 2 different pictures on them, which I think is super cool because that gives it functionality. We're not sure right now. I don't think they have lights and sounds amongst themselves, but the Mecha and the Changer does have light function, and I think it shines a light through the Qtama to light it up, which is pretty cool. There's a little diagram released that shows they will be doing Candy Toy Gashapon, and it'll work with other things like, I think, a couple arcade machines, and of course the Mecha and the Changer. Honestly, I like the design of the Qtamas. They said there's going to be 42 of them. I'm not so sure I'm going to be like getting all 42. From what we've seen so far, it is very much a case of there's the like Henshin ones, there's the Mecha ones, and then there's just a bunch of attack ones. So I'm not sure exactly if I'm going to be buying all 42, but yeah, there's a lot of Qtamas. Like currently there's a list, and we already got 1 through 9, 15, 20, 23 through 26, 36, 37, 40 through 42. From Gashapon sets, there's Gashapon exclusive ones. It's reminding me of the Astro Switches. There was 40 of those in the base set. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's basically that. So it looks like, for the most part, it will be easy. If you are collecting the Changer and the Mecha, you pretty much just need to get the Mecha and the Changer because all the Change Qtamas seem to be the same as the ones that come with the Mecha. With the only one overlapping, I think, is the Shishi one. So let's talk about the Changer, because that's the first thing here. Deluxe Seiza Blaster. Now, it's called Henchmen Controller Seiza Blaster, and it is a wrist-mounted gauntlet, sort of like the drag visor from Kamen Ryuki, except it's also a blaster handle on it with a trigger, so it's like a gun that's wrist-mounted. It doesn't look like it comes off to be an actual weapon. It looks like they kind of just grab it as a gun on the wrist and just start firing, which I think is pretty cool. It's a really unique design. I'm glad to have a wrist changer back, even if it is just freaking huge. It kind of reminds me of the Gaburi changer from Kyuuranger. So it's kind of cool in that sense. It looks like it just comes with the red Shishi Qtama. It's just an extra version, I think, that's probably the same as the one that comes with the Mecha. But it's really cool. You just stick the Qtama on top. It's got a 6 LED light combination, I believe. It shows 200 LED light combinations as a function, which I think is cool. It's retailing for 4,500 yen, which I think is a fair price. And yeah, that's actually really cool. I'll probably be picking up one of those, especially since I will be getting the Mecha, which I keep teasing that. We're going to get to that. Next up, we have Deluxe Q The Weapon. Now, Q The Weapon is going to be 3980 yen, and it's going to include a blue Qtama, which is, we're not exactly sure what it's called, I don't believe. It is, let's see, looking at the picture, it has stars in it. I can't really make out what animal it is, but it does come with a blue attack Qtama that seems to throw a repulsor blast out at opponents. But Q the Weapon is a lot more exciting because it has 9 modes. It is one weapon with 3 parts. It's got a little blade piece, a axe piece, and a handle, and it makes 9 different modes. So every ranger gets their own unique weapon. So like, for example, Shishi Red has this big sword, Okami Blue has a gun, Sasori Orange has another version of a sword, what was it, the silver one, he's got a like sickle kind of thing going on, and gold has a crossbow. Really cool stuff. I really dig this. They show in the pictures each of their personal Qtamas being attached to the back, so I think that's how like you're supposed to do it, show accurate wise, but you probably won't get unique sounds based on Qtamas, but who knows. This is actually a cool weapon. Probably won't pick it up right away, just because it is already 40 bucks. And then the shipping's probably not going to be too kind on that because it looks a little large. So we'll see how that goes, but I might put that on the back burner and get it later in one of the months that doesn't have as much stuff coming out. That's scheduled for February, as well as the changer is scheduled for February. The least exciting toy is the belt. The belt toy, it's 2,600 yen, I believe, and it holds 1 Qtama inside of it. It's a green Qtama it comes with. Not a chameleon. It doesn't look like the same one as a chameleon. It looks like a different one. Basically, you press a button, it flips out a Qtama. I think that's it. I think it only holds 1. It's lame. I'll just try to get that Qtama through a Gashbon set if I can. We'll see how that goes. Not really sure what if I want to get. Like I said, I don't know if I want to get all the attack Qtamas. Speaking of which, there is 2 sets coming out in February and March, respectively. We have Qtama set 1 with Kani, which is Cancer/Crab, Tate, which is Shield, and then we have, let's see, then the other set has Uo, which is Pisces or Fish, Hitsuji, which is Aries or Ram, and basically they have different attack sounds to them, so that's neat. The Qtamas are numbered, for anyone curious. They are numbered, which is fun. And I think that's pretty much it for roleplay right now. We've got Changer, Buckle, we got all kinds of stuff. Let's talk about the Mecha, because the Mecha is where I've always loved the most out of Sentai and Rangers. Like Sentai and Power Rangers, of all things that I really like from Super Sentai, it's the Mecha. The Mecha are always what I will come back to. Mecha, Megazords, whatever. I will always be buying Mecha, pretty much. That's why I own so many. Here we have Deluxe Q Renault. Now, Q Renault is going to be retailing for 7980 yen, which is less than Shurikenjin, more than Juo King, but it is kind of in the mid-range between there. And it does have lights and sounds. Most people were uncertain if it did. I checked the little, there's a little logo. It's a half orange, half blue circle that says it has lights and sounds. This Bandai's little identifier for lights and sounds, which is pretty cool. But talking about the main set of Q Renault, you've got they're called Voyagers, by the way. You got Shishi Voyager, Okami Voyager, Oshi Voyager, Chameleon Voyager, and Kajiki Voyager. Basically, Shishi Voyager is the torso of the robot. It has the head, the chest, the upper thighs, and the shoulders. And some translations have translated it as let's see, what's the official, what's the translate phrase? Seiza Docking Deluxe Q Renault. So it's got a docking feature. It's less of a combination, but basically the other 4 smaller Voyagers become arms or legs. Going all Scramble City Transformers on this thing, you can actually make the wolf an arm, or you can make it a leg. You can make the bull an arm or a leg, etc., etc. Each one of the limbs can be an arm or a leg. It doesn't have to be one specific part. I think that's super cool. We've had alternate things. For example, Go-Go Mixer and Go-Go Crane from Bokenger could become legs, but only with Daitenken and not with Daiboken. So it's kind of that same concept, except it can be used with everything. So basically, the main set has red, blue, black, green, and yellow. Really cool. They each come with a Qtamas, so it will come with 5 Qtamas, which are main portions of the mecha bodies. That's why they come with Qtamas. He's scheduled for February. 79.80 yen's a little high, but he does have sound effects. It does come with 5 Qtamas, which will work with the other toys. As far as I can tell, everything that they've shown here, it does. They are removable. They're not molded in specifically, so you can remove the Qtamas from them and swap them around and use them in the changer and such. So really cool. Looks like the mecha will light up everything. Really kind of digging this design. I like Lion Mecha. I think this is probably one of the weakest Lions we've gotten, but the overall mecha I think has a lot of cool functionality, which kind of makes up for some of its weird design choices. The big giant orbs I think is something I'll have to get used to, just like I get used to Juo King being giant cubes. It's more of an adaptation of things. Looking over to the next part, for 2,200 yen each, I believe, yes, 2,200 yen each, they will be sold in February as well, and they're sold individually. We have the Sasori Voyager, the Washi Voyager, and what's the other names? Hebatakushi Voyager and Tenbin Voyager. So we've got Libra, Snake, Scorpion, and Phoenix. So basically, or not Phoenix, bird. It's like a bird. So orange, gold, silver, pink, the support team's mecha, all of them are limbs. So they can either become arms or legs. Really cool. They show the functionality at the bottom of the scan, and it looks really neat. Honestly, I kind of dig some of these as limbs more than I do the ones that come with Kyuuranger. I don't really like Kajiki Voyager at all. I think he just really looks ugly. And Chameleon Voyager is kind of weird as an arm. So it's going to be fun being able to swap all these things around. It looks like the silver one becomes a shield for Kyuuranger, which is pretty cool. Of course, each of these come with their respective Qtamas, which are the ones that are used to change into the Kyurangers. So if you get the main 9 mecha and you get the changer, you'll have everything you need to become the main 9 Kyurangers, which is super cool. I think that's awesome functionality. It reminds me of the Judenshi for Kyuuranger. Works really well. So individual thoughts. Scorpio's pretty cool. I dig that one. The Pink's bird is just gorgeous. It's got all kinds of paint detail to it. The thing that got me, though, was the Libra and the Snake, because the Snake is bipedal. It's part of the Zodiac thing. I need to look into that more. The Libra and the Snake ones, gold and silver, are really articulated, mostly due to transformation. It looks like Libra... Yeah, it looks like these two have ball-jointed shoulders, bicep swivels, elbow joints, knee joints, and ball-jointed hips. And maybe their heads turn. I'm not exactly sure, but these things are super articulate. They're robo-styled, kind of like what was the recent one? Shinobi Maru and Rodeo Maru from Ninja. They're like that, but they're fully articulated. These guys will actually be able to pull off posing. I definitely see Libra having bicep swivels. I'm not sure about the Ophiuchus one. Not exactly sure if he has bicep swivels, but they're really articulated. To become their limb modes, they have to move their limbs around a whole lot, so I think that played into it, but we're going to get some really articulated mecha already, which I think is awesome, especially if we get more bipedal limb mecha later on. And yeah, those are all out in February too. Everything's out in February that has been shown, except for Qtamas Set 2, and this last item, which I'm really excited for. That is the Deluxe Cup Pit Set 01. Now, what this is a set of 5 Qtamas, and a set of 5 minifigures of the main team of Kyurangers. And the idea behind this is you take the Qtamas out of the Deluxe Mecha, replace them with these cockpit versions, and now you have minifigures of the Kyurangers scaled to the mecha, riding inside the mecha. This is just so cool. I love the little minifigures that came with the Juo changers for Zyuohger. I thought that was really cool because it's like a representation of the Rangers without having to buy the Sentai Hero series figures. I thought it was cool that the Artisan, Shinobi Maru, and Rodeo Maru had Aka Ninja and Star Ninja as little figures you could put on their shoulders. What I really loved was things like Time Ranger, where the Time Flyer set existed, and you had the little Time Flyer and the little minifigures that could fit inside Time Robo. And I'm trying to think if they ever did that again. The only times I can think of were Die Ranger and Time Ranger. Die Ranger had little minifigures that could ride on the outsides of the Zords, or the Mecha, excuse me. And Time Ranger had the little minifigures that could fit inside the time machines. So here we are, 41st Sentai, third time this is happening, minifigures that are scaled to fit inside the mecha. This is very much thinking that we're going to be having a split cockpit for Kyuuranger. They're not going to form all up into the same cockpit, it seems, as they are split apart between their limbs. But yes, this is replacement Qtamas with minifigures. It's 2,100 yen, so that's a good price. And it says Cockpit Set 01, which means I imagine one will be coming out later with the other 4 Qtamas for the 4 support team. Unless it's going to be a set of 5, and we're going to get another torso mecha in the second quarter. But we'll see how that goes. Not exactly sure, but it looks like most things drop in February with Qtama Set 2, Gashapon Set 1, and the Cockpit Set launching in March. So I'm going to be definitely trying to space things out. I'll probably get like the main mecha in February, and then get this support mecha in March with the Cockpit Set. I really want the Cockpit Set. I think that's just so cool. I really wish more Sentai Mecha would do this. It's a matter of design. Like, I know with Zyuohger, the cockpits weren't really defined where they were sitting, so it was kind of weird. But this definitely works out a whole lot. I just really like this. Honestly, probably my favorite part about the Kyuranger Mecha is the cockpit set. I think that's just so cool. And it definitely leads me to want to collect them. But I also like how you don't have to buy the minifigures. It would have been nice if they were included, but I understand get the ones that can change them into the Kyurangers with the mecha. This also means, though, I'll have a set of the 9 Qtamas for the change functions separate from the mecha, because the mecha will have the cockpit Qtamas. So the cockpit Qtamas are not included in the list of 42. So these are already extra ones on top of the 42. But I am really digging Uchuu Sentai Kyuuranger. I'm really looking forward to it coming out. Definitely expect reviews. Like I said, I'm going to get the mecha. I've pretty much decided that. I may not get it right away. It depends on how much the online retailers are selling it for, how big it is, and how heavy it's going to be to ship. I really want to be careful, because I don't want to order it and be like, oh, it's only $60, and then after shipping it's 120, kind of something like that. That's probably the biggest problem with Sentai Mecha. And I don't usually buy them right away. I usually wait till they go down in price a little bit. So we'll see how it goes, but definitely looking forward to seeing more of this. I want to see what the sounds and lights are. I want to see, the cockpit set. I just want the cockpit set. That kind of sealed the deal for the Kyuranger Mecha for me. But overall, I think the suit designs are great. I think the mecha designs are pretty good. I may be liking them more because of their functionality more than their actual design. I think Kyuranger does look a little weird, but I do want it. I do really want it. My only complaint really is 42 Qtamas is a lot. That's a lot of Qtamas. And who knows how many of those will be Rangers / Mecha Qtamas, and how many of those will be Attack Qtamas. I'm going to guess the majority are going to be Attack Qtamas. And hopefully, as long as they don't pull a Brigigas and make me have to buy all the other Qtamas to fit inside of it, I hope they just comes with it if they're doing something like that with the final mecha. We'll see. I'm not worried about getting the attack ones right now. If the show comes out and is just absolutely fantastic and I love it to death, then maybe I'll just pick up all the Qtamas. But that's pretty much it for this week on the Soundcast. Thank you for joining me. I really want to know what you think of Uchuu Sentai Kyuuranger's toy line in the comments below. Let me know. Give this video a like if you like the podcast and want to see it continue. Also, be sure to subscribe. Every Friday, I'll be posting a new episode of the Soundcast talking about the latest in toys, movies, and TV shows. And also, suggest ideas in the bottom comments below. Let me know what you think I should cover next. I want to hear your thoughts and opinions. I usually just think of these topics like a couple hours before I record. But if I had like a layout schedule, it might go a little smoother. So looking forward to your comments. I can't wait to read them. And also be sure to if you use the subscribe button, click the little bell icon, which will give you an email each time I upload a video. And since I don't upload a whole lot, that way you can keep track of it, and that way you don't miss any episodes of the Soundcast or any Soundout reviews. So much appreciate your support. Be sure to keep watching, and let me know if you like the episodes, because if there's a topic that I do and it gets no response, I'm probably not going to cover it again. So if you like something I'm talking about and want to hear more about it, make sure to comment and let me know. And that is all for this episode. Till next time, this is Soundout saying goodbye.